Hello. Hello. It's Natalie Locke here. Um, if you're not in the writer's retreat, but would like to be because you found yourself in the wrong place, you can find the link to the website for the virtual author tutors retreat in my description box. You can click on that and leave my stream, and then just come back and like this and watch it later because I'm okay with that. Because honestly, this is a little more for me to get my stuff in. Trying to think if there's anything else because I'm actually got my um, video ready for sharing the screen and doing a 15-minute countdown. So I might just go ahead and do that so I can get started. Plus, the boys are trying to go to sleep. And then I'll move and go somewhere else. All right. Let's share the screen. This is the one with the beautiful music. All right. 3, 2, 1. Okay, hold on. I'm trying a different angle, and it's not working out. I'll just make it higher. That's not gonna work out. All right, bear with me. I was trying. Oh, maybe this way. Nope. Okay, we're gonna slide over here smoothly so I don't shock anybody. I know there was some loud noises there. All right. Oh boy. So move that. And we are no longer on the first sprint because we just finished. So what I've been doing lately is I've been reading Save the Cat Writes a Novel. And for my first book, I didn't do anything. I just went off feelings of like, I feel like something should happen here. I feel like this. And then, of course, YouTube videos help too, of like, they talked about the muddled middle and the, okay, I forget all the other terms they used, but it really helped me kind of formulate something. So now I realize my book, even though it's done, I kind of need to make sure I'm hitting the marks. So, and I'm not doing exactly in the percentage wise that is suggested in Save the Cat Writes a Novel, but it is pretty good being, what's the word? Like I'm doing them in succession and I'm changing slightly tiny things right now to make sure, like, I thought about my theme and what it is, and I realized my theme is really what happens when you're trying to fix a problem and you think the root cause is something when it actually is something else. There's a better way to say that. Like, what happens when you try to fix a problem with the wrong root cause in mind? There we go. And it's all about how therapy takes time and how you don't even know if you're fixing something. And I hate the word fixing because it makes it seem like someone's broken and they're not. But through that therapy process and stuff, I'm just trying to figure it out. So I got flashcards because I always have flashcards. And I've been able to talk about the opening image, the setup, state the theme, and I get the catalyst that makes my character want to actually commit to therapy and is not viewing the therapy as a last resort. And now I'm at the debate, like the internal debate of like, will she commit to it? And she does decide to commit to it, but it's like after chapter 4. This is where my timing is off because each chapter is like 3,000 pages, whereas there's certain ones like chapter 4 that's like 4,200 something. The highest I get on my chapters is like 5,000. I usually have around the 3,000 mark. But yeah, so now that's how I'm spending my sprinting right now, is outlining this just to give myself peace of mind that yes, it's a rough novel, but it's not crap. It's a learning experience. So I'm trying to go through and make sure that I'm hitting these beats because I think I am, but I want to have confirmation that I am. So, and I know a few people popped in. So hello, because the little eye told me that you were here, but then you popped right back out. Hopefully you were able to at least leave a like if you popped in, or if you're watching this after the fact. So with that, I think I'm going to select another timer and I'm going to do 20 minutes. All right, so I just got to add this to stream. Why is it blurry? God, I hope it's not blurry anywhere else. Let me see. And then StreamYard's got me so far behind here. Oh, that's where. I don't understand why it's blurry. You know what? I'm going to try. I'm going to close out this. I'm going to open it back up in another window. I'll get there. Oop, and the timer started before it should have. Go full screen as we can, because I still got to use my computer. And now I'm just telling it which screen I want it to share. That's clear. Okay, so opening the window application and putting it somewhere else works. All right, so sprint number 2. Let's go. Oh, wait. I gotta add, never mind, hold on. I gotta add my audio. All right. Share screen. 20-minute. Share audio, because to me, the music makes it. And we are clear. Let's go. I always love that sound. All right, now I gotta jump over. I'm gonna grab this link. So the link I'm about to post is the direct link to that 20-minute video that I did. But from there, you can get the channel for Mr. Timer. And I really like that channel because he's got, I'm assuming he because it says Mr. in it, but he's got 30-minute timers, 20-minute, 15-minute, 5-minute, 10-minute timers. I go for the ones that have blue themes as it gets Christmas. He's got like Christmas themed ones. So as we get closer to Christmas, I figured I'll use those, or I'll create my own because I also found a shoot, what is it called? Royalty free website of music called Bin Sound. And I've been downloading those. But ooh, Halloween ones. I would love a Halloween one. I kind of like themes, but I also, when there isn't a holiday nearby to piggyback off of, I like to use what you just saw, which I kind of think of as kind of celestial a little bit, and I really like galaxy and space stuff. It looks pretty. Uh, and then Devacia's here. Not doing any writing yet, just dropping by. Oh, and leaving a like. That's okay. Technically, I'm not writing, but what I'm writing on my note cards as I go through the beats, the Save the Cat Writes novel, I might actually go through and count those words up. But then I have stuff like this, hold on, where I'm saying she at the midpoint, she's up in her personal life, but down in work life. So that's bye. Love you. My daughter's going to a friend's house. Oh, hold on. Let me put this on mute. God, she got me. Oh, so I guess the symbols I'm gonna count as one word each, and to go with that. All right. But definitely love the like Division. And as well as I hope your crocheting or knitting, I'm sorry, I don't know the difference, is going better than it was on Instagram. To scroll back up here, Lauren decided to brag on me, and yes, I wrote a flash fiction for Orla's audiobook, AuthorTube audiobook anthology is what it's going to be. I've already recorded it, but I got one of my friends that I used to work with. She does photography, so I sent her my video and said, yes, I found copyright free pictures, but I was like, hey, if you want to take any pictures, if you're inspired to, feel free to send it my way. I'm going to post it and I'm going to give her credit. So I'm waiting on that. That's kind of how things are going. I'm trying to take it easy a little bit. Ooh, I might share my screen real quick here because let me show you. Can I not share my... I don't think I can... Oh, I can share Excel. There we go. It popped up. So, I'm making Lauren blush. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. Hold on, let me cancel this. I was going to share my screen on something. Yes, symbols in the notes helps. I think it's left over from when I was in school and like the teachers were talking way too fast. I was just like up, down, left, right, at symbol. I had a lot of shorthand and stuff. Still searching for the I'm sorry. It will get done at some point. Anything. Okay, so I figured I'll share my screen real quick. For Milwordy because I did a thing. Okay, it's showing up. And you know what? I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. So, I'm not sure if you can see. Wait, my value went up. What happened here? Oh, September value, something messed up. I see what it is. What happened? Okay, you know what? I'm just going to drag this down because I know that works. D14. Okay, I'm sorry that you're watching me try to fix my spreadsheet now. It keeps messing up. J14 and... Okay, I have no clue why this one is the same exact thing. I'm just going to put... Okay, so putting 0 in there helped. That was interesting. Okay, either way, something happened. There might have been an extra space. So, yesterday, I ended up doing 29,544 words. I am going to, I'll be honest, I feel like I've gotten a little bit of backlash for deciding to include critically reading words. And critically reading words, in my opinion, is not when I'm like reading this book that, yes, will help my writing, but when I'm critiquing someone's chapter or a synopsis or something, because I'm doing it the same way that I would do editing my own book, of critically reading what I'm reading and making comments and such. So I've been counting the words that I'm actually reading critically and my comment words, which is why where there's an R here, you see 26,021 words, because that's how many words I read critically yesterday. It was 10 chapters and one synopsis that I ended up doing yesterday. I said 11 chapters on Instagram, and that was incorrect. And but because reading goes much faster than writing, whether you're doing it critically or not, I've decided to make this a double Milwordy. So instead of 1 million, I'm going for 2 million. And you can see that on my grand total page, where I have a monthly goal of 1 million, not 1 million, of 166,000 instead of the originally projected 83,000. I'm rounding roughly. So, yeah, this is going to be fun. So there's my goal of 2 million, and the difference right now is 1,000,009. I can't even, hopefully you're not on my phone, because I have my phone because the camera's better. And it's really tiny on here, so on my computer it's big enough. Hopefully it is for y'all. But either way, yeah, so my next vlog, I'm like officially announcing that. And that's gonna be fun. But I just figured, since reading, like I said, it doesn't take as much time, and I want this to be a challenge. And it's also for me to know my own boundaries, my strengths, weaknesses, where the line is for me. And so yeah, that's fine. And regarding the backlash, I will say this: because I'm an anxious person, I interpret maybe someone going, "Oh, you do numbers differently than I do," as I take that as what they really mean to say is, "Oh, you're doing it wrong." So it could totally all be in my head, and it's not any reflection onto them. It's more a reflection of my own anxiety and insecurities. So I will caveat that. But yeah, I'm still on par. Like, I need to catch up from last week, because I was like 8,000 short on the 2 million mark last week, and to catch up on last week and equal everything for this week. I just need like 700 more words today. And tomorrow still counts for week 2 for me. So, because I'm doing it on like since September 1st started on a Tuesday, I just make Tuesday as my weekly mark and everything. So yeah, I just need 700 a day, and I figured I'm just gonna keep going. Oh, and in other news, so last night I woke up at like, I'm on Eastern time. I woke up at like 12:45. I've had I went to Lake Erie because I live near it on for Labor Day weekend. And mosquitoes love me. And normally I just itch like 1 or 2 days, then it goes away. Well, it's been a week and I was still itching last night, to the point that it kept me from going back to sleep. So from 12:45 until about 3 in the morning, I was awake. Luckily, my husband let me sleep in a little bit. I thought about canceling this, but I'm actually more awake. And now that my son's asleep, I can get some more writing done. So I only got like 700 more words to write, though right now I'm doing handwriting notes. And I definitely appreciate y'all being here. And Alicia, I'm glad you can relate to my anxiety. It's one of those things, I will say, I've said this on a stream before, but something that's always stuck in my mind when people try to say, "Oh, you don't understand I remember saying this when I was a teenager a lot. Be like, "You don't understand, you didn't go through this." It's like, if we couldn't understand what someone's going through because we never went through it, we wouldn't have male gynecologists. So, there's that. Because I can tell you a male gynecologist never had a baby, but he knows how everything works and knows the pain that the women are in. So, just saying. All right. With that, I am going to pull back up Mr. Timer. He's got a new one out. All right, this one is with pop music for kids. Hopefully it's good. Usually the for kids one, I'm so afraid of like kids songs or whatever, but it's mostly muted. I think I've played this one before. It's a little the background kind of makes me think of My Little Pony. You'll see it in a second when I share it. So let me go over here. Come on, where is it? There we go. Oh, share audio. I always forget to click that. Whew. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and play, and I'm going to see how much more I can fit on this thing. All right. Dude, I got too many screens open. Dear Lord. Don't mind me. You can just put me on mute. All right. Let's go. I was trying to unmute on my computer, but I had to unmute on my phone. Either way, Stephanie is here.
Hi.
I'm glad you made it. How was the hold on, I'm trying to remember the homeschool workshop.
It was really good. Only one other person actually commented in the comments, but we saw like during it there was like a couple of dozen views. So people were viewing with like maybe in incognito mode or something. But she shared, I think, of good like 8 resources. I had 25. Blue.
No, not you.
Things to like worksheets and a place where you could get free like read books online for free, like free books for kids.org or something like that, like worksheets and Khan Academy, and like where you can go to find out your homeschooling laws for your own state. Like each state is different homeschooling laws. So we talk. I mean, I'm just glad somebody else was on stream with me while they're doing there. Cachet showed up. Cachet, is that how you say her name? Cachet. She was there. I have a little bit of a lisp because part of my teeth are getting worked on at the lab. My bottom teeth are gone. Ooh. Like I got dentures. I'm okay telling people I have dentures, but I got dentures, a partial up top and a full down below.
Yeah.
But the ones down below, they had to redo the lining and they had to send it out to the lab. I haven't had them since Wednesday. I miss them.
Are you on like a soft food diet, like mashed potatoes and stuff then? Or
I'm on whatever I can manage to chew. I'm tired of mashed potatoes, let me tell you that. There's only so many mashed potatoes and yogurt braces, you can eat, man.
I had braces for 5 years, and it sounds really like long, but it was only because 14 like super micro teeth were blocking one of my teeth from, it was actually on this side, were blocking one of my teeth from pushing through. So that tooth, the full size tooth, started migrating through my gums like down to my chin. So they had to attach a chain to it and slowly pull it back. Ooh. So that's why I had braces for 5 years. My teeth were fine. It was just that one damn thing. But whenever I would get my braces tightened, and since they kept on tightening that damn wire that was sticking through my gums, everyone got ice cream. No, I wanted KFC mashed potatoes and gravy, because KFC mashed potatoes is like the smoothest mashed potatoes.
Yeah, it is.
Non-home potatoes that I've ever had. So I was like, I don't care if it's fake or whatever, like mashed potato flakes or something. I was like, I want it. So
that's good. My daughter, she has really she's really picky about her mashed potatoes. She doesn't like it too soft or too chunky, but she likes the KFC mashed potatoes because sometimes I'll mix them at home and like the instant mashed potatoes, and they'll be a little bit too creamy. And she's like, it's like baby food, Mom. I don't like it. But then if I bake them from scratch, she's like, they're too chunky. I'm like, there's no winning with you.
Something that helps me with the mashed potatoes not to be chunky is I got a potato ricer. And so I cut the potatoes in half. Oh my God, you're adulting when you're talking like this. All right, so I cut the potatoes in half, boil them, and it sounds like I'm the cook, but actually my husband's the cook in the family, not me. But we cut them in half, boil them, and then when they're soft, we put them through the ricer, and it's great because then it's also kind of helps cool it down a little bit too, because you're taking them individually. And then being so like paper thin strips mashes up easier, and the butter melts great in there, and whatever else you put in your mashed potatoes. And that works great with the red potatoes as well as like the Idaho white potatoes or whatever. But those things are legit.
But yeah, the homeschool distance learning chat workshop, however you want to call it, went really well. She's gonna save it up there, so all those dozens of resources are available, and they're all free resources that I shared and she shared.
I can bet you, even though like it didn't have a lot of views, there's so many people in the world doing homeschooling right now, or distance learning at least, if not homeschooling. that they're just like starved for information and
Right.
things that can
Yeah,
help.
that was one of the things we talked about. Like, I talked about the difference between homeschooling and what everyone is doing distance learning. Like, the difference between that. Like, don't call distance learning homeschooling, because it's not.
No, because
you're in charge of it when you're homeschooling. You don't have to do
homeschooling, you're coming up with the subject matter. The distance learning, the subject matter is given to you and everything. I even have distance learning. So my son's in pre-K, and they only go 2 days a week. They usually go through 4, but they're doing like 3 weeks of where it's just alternating 2 days a week. And so my youngest is in there. Where's my oldest? She's 9. She's in 4th grade, so she deals with it. She's just going to school. But they actually send me emails of videos that he needs to watch. He's 2.5. He's about to turn 3. But I'm like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Like, my son, anytime I put any of these videos on, he goes, no. And like just walks away. I can't. I just can't with them.
So what are you working on, Natalie?
So I know because I watched one of your videos, you did Save the Cat Writes a Novel.
Yes.
We're going to read it. Well, I finally read it, especially last night when I ended up going to the doctor in the middle of the night. But I've realized kind of the significant, what beat to follow, which is rite of passage, which kind of makes sense since, I mean, it's called therapy sessions. It's all about an internal passage and stuff and dealing with life. And so as I go through the beats, I realize, here's the funny thing is, I started mapping it out, starting with like opening image, theme stated, setup and everything, trying to figure out if I knew my timing was off a little bit, but I know that I was hitting the beats, even though I wrote this with no like insight whatsoever. It's my first novel. I just wrote it, and at times I had this gut feeling of like, you know what? I think there needs to be something here. It's kind of lulling, so throw something in there to keep it entertaining. But I can tell you right now, fun and games, midpoint, bad guys closing in, all is lost, and Dark Night of Soul. I can't differentiate between those, like with what's happening in my story. So I even tried to go to the end and beat outline from the end back to the middle to see if I could figure it out. No. So I got 360 words on flashcards right now, trying to map it out.
Those words count for Milwordy, Natalie.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's on my spreadsheet already. That's why when we had like a minute left, I was like, I don't want to take all that time. So I just grabbed my flashcards and started counting here, and I got 360. And then before we were talking, I have one of my flashcards. It has an arrow up, and then right below it has an arrow down. I was like, does that count for a word or 2 words? Because I'm using a symbol. I mean, but so, it counts for whatever word it's. So it was like the arrow up was the it increase is something increase. I forget what it was. It was the increase the person's personal life, but decrease work life, like their happiness level, like how comfortable. Is there a kitty over there, by the way? I feel like I hear a meow.
We had the fan on the fan on last night, and I forgot to turn it off because it like turned off because it got cool enough inside, and then it just went back on just now.
Ew. Well, I heard the booming almost, and so that was fine.
Yeah,
I'm not worried.
I turned off. Yeah, when I read Save the Cat Writes a Novel, so I got it after I was done with my first draft when I got to the end. So I got it, and I realized I needed to have a new first chapter. Like my first chapter went into, your mom's gone and you have to stay here now, and that's it. Like, so that my new first chapter is about, like showing the reader it was normal that these kids went back and forth between their mom and their dad repeatedly. Like that wasn't anything new. Like what their normal life was like before this event happened. So I added a new first chapter, and then I decided I needed a new last chapter because there is a cliffhanger on the last chapter, but I needed a different type of, kind of like an ending, but not totally ending. So if I wanted to write a second book, so the ending of the book is they find out that their mom is around, and so so she goes to see them, and then they're flying home, and that was it, the end. But then I added more. So then I added a little bit more to it after that, like going to their old house that they had lived in when they were way younger and how it's different now, that sort of thing. That's where I ended it, instead of like, oh, mom's around, we're gonna go see her at the end. So that was too drastic of an ending. And then right now I'm working on adding more fun and games in the middle, which I'm kind of confused about what it means by fun and games. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, if it's a murder mystery, what is fun and games in a murder mystery? You know what I mean?
To me, well, and that's what's killing me with this middle part, from like fun and games to the end of Act 2, like, so the entire Act 2, because like, if you're talking about intensity and conflict and stuff, it's like a little bit up, down, a little bit higher, down, and midpoint down, and like it's like it's a roller coaster a little bit, because there's a miscarriage, there's like some hints to some post-traumatic stress disorder. There's this thing, is it a reoccurring dream from her childhood, or did it really happen? And it just like, and then there's a pedophile court case that's going on in the background and stuff that's kind of triggering all of this, and so on and so forth. And it just like, and I'm like, and then the mom gets sick. The main character's mother gets sick as well. And so like, this is all happening in the middle. And I'm just like, I don't know what to put, like, there's no clear line. It's not like, it's all blended and blurred together. It's like a watercolor painting in that part for me. Which actually, while the entire time I was reading this, I was like, I don't follow any of this. But then I got to a certain point. Where was it? And the line was like, hey, it's gonna blend together. It's gonna be, you're gonna have all the beats, but it's probably not gonna be in the order that I laid it out. It's probably not gonna be on the same timeline. So she gave that flexibility, which made me feel a little bit better. So I don't know. At this point, I kind of just went, I need other people to read it. And right now, my critique partners and beta readers, they're reading it by chapter. And the only one that has given me full on, this is great, is my mother. But I'm not going to take her comments to heart, because she's a little biased. And also, she kind of helped me brainstorm the story as well.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had all the ideas, and then I was like, and then this is going to happen. She's like, the therapist is going to do that. I was like, really, Mom? You're going to preach to me on my own characters? But then she was right. I was trying to make the character do something they didn't want. And even the character was resisting, because I could make it organic. So every time. Yeah, and then I got some other ideas, and I'm thinking about working on a sci-fi novel. Urban, I think it's urban sci-fi would be the title, or maybe urban fantasy. But it deals with parallel universes, and you remember the show Quantum Leap?
Yeah,
I loved that show growing up. So kind of a little bit of that too. So all this mindset of parallel universes and the Mandela. I always wanted to say, no, it's Mandela effect. Yeah, Mandela effect, parallel universes, quantum leap type situation, which that could have series potential. I mean, because the show Quantum Leap was a series, but
right.
I'll see. I'm having I've been playing with and outlining it and stuff, and just getting these ideas of kind of really setting the world of like how to explain deja vu, how to explain the Mandela effect, how to explain all this, and it's because of these parallel universes and stuff. So yeah, I was freaking out in the shower when I got this idea, and I was like, I gotta write it down now. When it hits you. And then, of course, I have my novel that I wrote that I'm editing. Then I got 2 novels that I want to add to it that are standalone. All of them are standalone in the series, but they all approach different therapy types and what someone could be going through that would need that and stuff, just because psychology and sociology has always been interesting to me. And then I got the short stories. And then, have you done, are you doing Orla's anthology audiobook thing?
No, I kind of want to see how it goes this time before I do anything like that. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm a little afraid because so I wrote it and I got good feedback and then I made it better. I admit I made it better, but then, and even though I'm still getting good feedback with it by those who read both versions, I'm still getting feedback from one particular person who isn't mean or anything, but they're saying like, they pretty much are like, I'm sorry, but this is just like a nice cutesy story. There's no conflict. And I'm like, there is conflict. It's like, I don't know.
So is a lot of your stories like psychology, sociology related ish?
Kind of. Yeah, I'm very dialogue heavy. And I get my story from there. And I like what my favorite thing to do is where I have dialogue, but then the expressions or the internal monologue is different than what's being said out loud.
Yeah, so my main character in my story that I'm writing, my book I'm writing, right now she's like 9 years old, so she has a lot of those internal dialogue. I'm going to talk rudely to my parents. I dare not say that out loud. I'm going to talk differently than I'm doing inside. Well, because I wrote it, and then this lady from my church, I let her read the first version of it, and then I let my husband read it, and they're both like, we want more emotion and feeling. What are they really thinking and feeling? Okay, fine. Here you go. Like I thought I showed their emotions well, but you wanted more, like, what are they really thinking and feeling about finding out their mom died? Because that's what that was. They got told their mom had passed away. The three kids in the story, which they did not. Anyway, so when I was going to college, prior to me filing for divorce, I was like, I had my internships left to do, and I was going to get my bachelor's of science in psychology. So if you want someone to read your book that studied that stuff, I'm your girl. And I will
just let me change 1 or 2 things, because I'm thinking about changing. Because one of the common themes throughout is the therapist is like, you should journal. And you would think my main character would like journaling because she likes organization, calendars type stuff. But she's like, why am I going to write it down? Like, what is writing it down going to do and stuff. And right now, as it sits at the end of the story, the last paragraph is actually a journal entry from her because she finally did it. But as I dwell on it more, I'm like, I'm thinking of cutting it. And where she's still back in therapy and she's reiterating what is in the journal entry. But you see, like, because I don't want to come across this message of like, journaling will solve everything, because it's not meant for everyone.
Right.
So, and she fights it through the whole story, and she barely writes anything down through the whole story. So why would all of a sudden she be able to write an entire entry? So it was one of those things
where to like drop in throughout this book rather than have it at the end,
Yeah, like there was a little bit dropped in of like where cognitive behavior therapy, and they talk about cognitive errors. For anyone who is watching this again, cognitive errors is it's the things that we do in our mind that result in incorrect perceptions of situations, whether that's, like, for example, let's say my husband comes home and slams the door, and I automatically assume, because I'm doing mind reading, that he's upset with me. No, he just came home and had a bad day at golf and he slammed the door. Or he thought he was closing it softly and it slammed instead. Like, right. But the mind reading is the cognitive error in that situation. There's other things like jump to conclusions, emotional reasoning of I feel this way, therefore I'm right type stuff. You can do Google research. There's a plethora of them. And so it's touched on in my story, and that's about as much writing as she does. But she does highlight that she has a lot of negative self-talk as well through that process. So little things like that. I've gotten good feedback when it came to the therapy, but a lot of people feel it's rather slow.
But therapy is slow. Generally, you don't like solve it in a day.
That's what my whole theme is. Hold on, let me find that. My therapist says the trick is recognizing the root cause so we can influence it. Finding the root cause takes the longest. Might throw in takes the longest time, but it's because this whole book is about finding the root cause, and right when you think you have the right root cause and you're trying to fix that, it actually turns out that wasn't the root cause. It's this other thing. And they don't find out what the other thing is till the end, technically. That's like, that would be the elevator pitch. But I'd have to make it a little more exciting.
So when I do read your book, I,
because you will.
I've studied psychology. So I can, comment on that sort of thing. I can comment on the story. I can comment on your grammar stuff. Like, what do you want me to comment on?
It would be anything. The main thing that at this point that I'm looking for is the development and the pace. So, and by development, I mean development of the characters. So are they still realistic in the moment as well? I've had everyone likes the main character. Like at first, some people didn't like her, but I've changed some things to make her a little bit more likable in the beginning, so she doesn't come across so cynical and like a chip on her shoulder. Mm-hmm. She's still cynical, but I didn't want her to be like God, she's negative, and they hate her. And then my therapist, who is in there, it's funny because some people are like, she just seems like a robot, and other people are like, I don't think she would be this personable, you should cut it. Like, I got both ends on the spectrum on that one. So, but the part that I am most excited about is that every chapter takes place in the therapist's office, or like the parking lot around the therapist's office, but it is that session.
Okay.
And the next chapter is the next session. So when it comes to timeline, it makes it a little bit easier because I have a spreadsheet. Of course I'd have a spreadsheet, but I have the calendar laid up, and I'm like, all right, chapter 1 is this session that took place on this day, and here, and then I plug in what would happen in between sessions so that the next session they could talk about it and stuff like that. And so I did some good things. I had to change some things, especially because originally I didn't put actual physical dates to it, but I realized I had to, which shifted my holidays by like an entire month because I didn't have dates. I just had weeks. And I was like, yeah, every 4 weeks, a new month. It doesn't work that way because there's always like 2 or 3 extra days.
So as I was reading my book yesterday, I was trying to figure out where all this new added stuff to chapter 2 is going to go. I realized, because they're going to a new school, and I realized, great, I never mentioned the first chapter what time of the year it was that they went to go visit their dad and then stayed there. like, was it in the summertime? Was it
Those,
in September? Was it October? So I've decided they're switching right like at the end of September, early October, because then I'm going to talk about like them doing like the Halloween thing and Christmas and stuff at their new school with their dad full time and then maybe like bring up how it was different than at
I
their
like
mom's.
how in writing, like, you don't have to have an actual date if you just have a time frame. Like, oh, we're setting up for we went away for Labor Day. Okay, September. Gotcha. We're getting ready for Halloween. Okay, so it's probably end of September, early October when
Right.
Halloween actually happens. So you're not pigeonholed to this, like, it must happen this date. But yeah, I can see rereads are always fun because you're beating yourself up, but at the same time you're like, all right, this is better. Like, you can start to see it be better. You get positive about it. I still got some more edits to do. Like, my mom sends me edits, but I keep on telling her she's focusing on my words, and I'm like, no. Focus on what's being said, not how I've presented it, because that's going to change as I edit more. We don't need to like polish the sentences for
Is
my
she
typos.
your editor for your stuff?
No, actually, I had a chance. At least the first 8 chapters, I had a kind of professional editor. She was getting her start, and she just kind of wanted to. She was just given free whatever, and I said, "Well, I only have 8 chapters thus far. If you want." So she reviewed all of those and gave me like a development sheet and stuff like that, and was talking about like even just numbers, which I'm still torn on numbers because I when to spell it out and when not to. Like, I thought anything over 10 you can use as a numerical value. Under 10 you would spell it out, but apparently the rule now is 100.
Yeah, I just watched a video that Natalia Lee did.
Yeah, I have that saved on my watch list to save me.
So basically, she talks about so if it's a number under like up to 100, you spell it out. Like 25 would be 20, 20 and then 5 spelled out. If it's over 100, you just write out like 1001113. But if the number is the first word in the sentence, you spell it out no matter if it's over or under 100.
Yeah, and I know that because I've revised sentences just so I didn't have a number as the first word in the sentence. But then also I've heard other rules, of course this could be more tied to newspaper writing, of if it's an address, if
it's an address, you write out the numbers.
If it's somebody's age, you write out the numbers. Like, not it's numerical if it's someone's age. But then I've also seen it where it's spelled out, so I don't know. I've seen a few different things.
And it really depends on what style manual you use, like Chicago or the Chicago manual style or the American Psychological Association APA manual style, MLA manual style. So it kind of varies.
I'm going to share my screen real quick because this really helped me. And in case anybody's watching this video in the future, I will have this link in the description. But let me jump over. I got to stop my screen and start it again because I'm changing screens. Where is it? There. So I found this website about copy editing marks. And this thing helped me so much because I wrote my book, printed it out, and bound it and everything. And then I was like, I need shorthand to make my marks all over this. So this tells you of like, oh, I need to add an extra P, adding comments here, cutting this, like cutting the comma there. Lowercasing something is just a strike through of the letter and stuff like that. Uppercase is underlined 3 times and stuff. If you need to italicize something, you underline it. Don't underline, is that not? Yeah, I don't know. It was just, I found this website really interesting and it helped. Especially when you want to remove a space, this like weird bracket like half of the infinity symbol and stuff. So I'll make sure to throw that in the description. But those things like that, I was kind of doing a lot of Google as I go with this book. And I think it has potential. I just got to edit some more.
I'm going to move my location of my computer, so that's why no video right now.
Oh, you're fine.
That's all.
I can still hear you. We're good. So I'm thinking I was going to do another 20-minute sprint.
Okay.
You got anything to work on?
Yes, I got stuff to work on.
Milwordy, we always do.
Writing, all that writing.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm done outlining.
What's the workshop for Milwordy so far? I bet you it's more than mine.
It
actual
is,
words written.
I am going to caveat right now and let you know that remember that I'm counting reading critically?
Yes.
Okay. So
are you separating them now?
I'm still separating them in the sense of so I know how much words I'm reading versus how much I'm actually writing. So if we look like actual words written, I'm at 11,090. But if we include, oh, wait, let me add my edited words in there. So we're talking 16,000, over 16,000 actual words written. If we're in to include my reading critically, like yesterday I read 10 chapters, 1 synopsis and stuff like that, and I edited those and had the comments to those. For Milwordy up to now, I'm at 77,628.
Well, you got a lot more than me anyway. I have not been writing well this month. I got 9,318.
Hey, it's some you didn't, and I think I said this in my last Milwordy video. I was during my voiceover part of like, Milwordy is like, it's not about trying to see how far you can go. I think it's more about us realizing our boundaries, like our limitations, and expanding them, of course, and getting better, but knowing where the line is so we can take care of ourselves better. And I think that's what I want to get out of Milwordy is like, where's my line? So reading 11 or 10 chapters and 1 synopsis in one day, for me, I should have not done that. I felt very burnt out after that. It took me a few hours this morning just to get back into things. Mm-hmm. But with that, I still want to make this a challenge for myself. So instead of doing Milwordy, I'm doing double Milwordy.
So like 1 million critically read and 1 million written?
No. It's all together and it's just going to be 2 million. Because there's no way my writing can equal, because my writing itself should have been at 18,000 for just week 1 if I'm counting just writing words. Reading takes so much time that I'm not writing the reading critically. Even though I'm writing as I read critically. So that's why I still want to count it. And the only reason I'm willing to count that is because if I was editing my work, I'd be reading critically and writing comments. So why can't I count that when I'm reading someone else's work and writing comments?
Are you are you able to say what you do for work?
Yeah. I'm in the military.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I just leave it at that usually. And so therefore, like Friday night, I worked until 8:30 and I had been working since 7:30 that morning. Okay. Even though I'm working from home. But my words count there because I do send a lot of emails. And I'm reviewing documents and such like that. So I still allow myself to count those words.
I think you should, definitely. Yeah. I mean, when I write emails to my daughter's therapist, because she's retarded.
I remember you telling me about that.
Oh, my God. All right.
You said the last one was like 13. Oh, did they reply?
Yes, they replied. And then I chose to wait like 4 days, but I replied back to her because I kept on like
God,
typing up
what
stuff, and
willpower.
I show it to my husband, and he's like, I wouldn't send that. I wasn't happy with her.
At least you knew that.
I'm like, should I send it? I go, does it sound a little too snarky? He goes, yeah. Because I told her a bunch of behaviors Hannah had been doing, like, stealing or finding money and then buying candy and hiding it and lying about it. And she literally said in her email back to me that stealing and lying is a perfectly normal way for teenagers to figure out their place in the world, blah, blah, crap. I'm like, and then she went on to say that, and then because I told her in the previous email, I'm like, we're in contact with the mental health department here and through the crisis center, and we're going to get a family therapist in addition, because I think we need a family therapist in addition to it. And then she went on to say in the replied email that having two therapists is unethical in most situations.
No, it's not. You can get a second opinion from a doctor. You can get it, and a therapist is also kind of like a second opinion. I changed therapist multiple times throughout my life. I went to therapy when I was like 10 years old, and I ended up changing therapists because one lady, I did not like her. Like, I just felt like she was condescending and such. And so I changed therapists. And then I got this other lady who gave me stuffed animals, and we were cool. And then, as well as when I've gone to therapy through work and stuff, of course, they do a cycle where the therapist change like every 3 months or every year or something like that anyways. So you're bound to have somebody.
So yeah, this is like her second therapist. Her first therapist was a trauma counselor, and she was like, oh, we're going to ignore the part where she chewed a hole in her lip to make her have a red lip so she could have lipstick because you told her she couldn't wear red lipstick at 10 years old. We're going to focus on her trauma. So then I tell this other therapist, and I'm telling her, and the crisis center told us to like do like a detailed like behavioral report of every time she does, like timestamp what she does and what time. And so I send it to this current therapist, and she totally ignores it. So then finally she's like, well, if you're referring to the family therapist, that's fine. But if you're thinking about another individual therapist, that could be conflict, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, if you feel like, I need to refer you to someone else, that's fine. I'm like, so then I was like, this last email, I was like, I just feel like no one's listening. This other therapist doesn't listen. You don't listen. When I give you pages upon pages for behavior, you blatantly ignore it. So I don't think that you're helping. And then I'm like, I said, anytime that you want to call me, I'm not available because I do schoolwork during the day, and then it's not available. And so then she's like, all right, well, just let me know. So I'm going to give her some random weird times just to be a pain in the ass about it. Like, you can call me like at 5 o'clock on Wednesday night and like 7 a.m. on Saturday morning.
There you go. These are the only times I'm free. Choose wisely.
That was not pleased with her at all.
Yeah, to me, doctors, therapists, hell, even event planners, anything where you are dealing with human interactions type jobs, the people have to mesh well. Like, it is, sometimes it's personality, sometimes it.
And she's a newer counselor. Yeah. Like, my other daughter, she's in language therapy and behavioral therapy for her autism. And her behavioral therapist went to school with this other therapist of my other daughter. So she's new. So the counselor for my older daughter, the one that doesn't listen to me, she's still, her little number or letters after her name, there's an intern in there. Like, she's still considered an intern.
Yeah. And I try not to judge people because you got to start somewhere. And I think you're going to have to go through. But if there is a point, even like with my job and stuff, like, there's a good number of years where if you're in meetings, you should probably just sit there and listen and soak in information. So, and when you are questioning anything, seek feedback from those that you trust. Don't assume you know. Man. If I can ask you, when was your daughter diagnosed with autism?
I'm
You
counting.
can't
Hold
remember
on.
exactly.
10. Right after she turned 8 years old. But it took me 3 freaking years for her primary care doctor to listen to me, and she's no longer there. She moved to Seattle with her husband, but it took me 3 freaking years for her to listen to me. I'm like, I think there's something different with her. We need to get her evaluated. I think she has anxiety. That's what I thought, because she would like melt down and like fall to the ground when like things wouldn't go a certain way. So I thought she was having really bad anxiety.
When plans would change.
But it was not anxiety. I mean, she has anxiety, yes, but she also has autism spectrum disorder level 1, which is like high functioning. She has auditory processing disorder and like sensory processing disorder. Yeah. So she got officially diagnosed in August when she was 8. She's 10 now, but I feel like she's been showing signs since she was like 6.
Yeah, so my son says 4 words right now, and he's going to turn 3 in October. And last time I went to the doctor, because he had to get a wellness check to even go to pre-K, they said they wanted to do a referral for developmental diagnosis, possible autism. And I'm like, okay, yes, he melts down, but he gets over it in like a minute. Like, it doesn't like ruin our day or anything. And really his attitude has gotten better as I started learning sign language and teaching him sign language, so then we could communicate on a basic level. But they still want to do it, and I'm still going to the meeting, but I don't think, I don't think they can diagnose this early, and 2, I don't think it's gonna make any difference what I'm doing.
So my sister has 3 kids, and one of them got diagnosed with autism, but like he's younger than any of my kids, so it can be diagnosed early. I mean, at the very least, you would get information to see what exactly is going on. It could be a matter of things on the spectrum. It could just be like he might have a sensory thing going on, or he might, have issues like comprehending the sounds coming in his ears. It could be a matter of things. So I just like go to the evaluation appointment thing and just look
I
at
still
it
plan to go
as a info gathering thing.
I know what's been tossed around is, first off, he understands everything, and I know he's not having a hearing problem, because I know my husband's like in the kitchen and our son's like in a totally different room, and my husband says something like, I'm gonna go outside, and all of a sudden we hear Spencer coming running because he wants to go outside. You heard the word outside. And even little things, like I remember one time a few months ago, I was like, hey, do you want to let the dogs out? I just said it. I've never said these words to him before. Oh my god, now my dogs come running. They can hear. Hold on. It was her fault. Just they're
cute. They're big dogs.
Yep. Their names are Lilo and Stitch. But nope, go lay down. We're not doing it. But I just said it, and my son went, went to the door, unlocked it, opened it, let them out, and closed it without like saying it. So I have so much faith that he understands so much. What has been said was oral dyspraxia, meaning like his mouth is like, it's like using it's like having weak legs or weak arms. You can't lift things. Kind of the same thing of he can't move his mouth to make the stuff that's like weak.
Okay, so one of my kids had issues with moving her tongue appropriately, like to form the sounds appropriately, and so in speech and language therapy, they built up her muscles around her mouth here and then her tongue.
Oh, that's
and it was
smart.
really weird. They took like a big flat button, like a plastic button, and then they tied a string to it. And so what I did with her a couple times a day was she would put the button between her teeth and her lips, like right here, and then I would gently tug on it, and her job
Mhm.
was to try to hold it in with her lips to build up the muscles around.
Ooh, that
It was
makes
a really
sense. There's
simple thing, but
Yeah,
it
I know there's like
definitely
little
worked.
exercises we can do with Helm, with Spencer and stuff. My son's name is Spencer. There's little exercises just for him to practice and hear the word like ball, and for him to at least start forming his mouth, even if no sound comes out, to say ball.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Sorry, the dogs. I finally caved and I let them out, and now I'm going to grab my watch and I'm probably going to make some green tea on this next sprint because my
Okay.
son's still asleep and I might as well utilize this time.
Does
You
he
ready
nap
for your
well?
project?
Yeah.
He does
Does he?
actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 2 hours a day, hour and a
That's
half minimum.
mm, that's
Um,
that's good. My oldest daughter would take a couple of 2 hour naps during the day. My second daughter would go through sprints of I'm going to go to sleep early and sleep all night to I'm going to wake up at 2 a.m. and stay awake until 2 o'clock in the afternoon and be happy about it.
yeah, my son,
And
he likes sleep.
my
I do
youngest
enjoy that.
one did not like sleep, but he's liking sleep now. Like yesterday, he woke up at 11 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
and he's 7. So
I wish my daughter's 9, and the only reason she slept in till 9:30 today is because my husband and I didn't want to like pin my husband and I against each other, but he said she could stay up till 11, and it's the weekend, so I was like, fine, I'll let her. But she slept in late, so but I don't think we should let that happen again, personally.
great. Yeah, usually like Friday nights, well, you let the kids stay up a little bit later because that's the only day that we don't have anything to do the next day, like schoolwork or going to church or whatnot.
Hmm. You just gotta be. I'm all about structure, and I like the onesie twosies, like exciting. Hey, it's family movie night or something like that. Um, I'm all for that, but I also want to make sure that I don't disrupt the schedule either,
Yeah,
completely at least.
that makes
Okay,
sense.
I got
Okay.
a sprint pulled up. Do you have your documents pulled up?
Yes, I do.
All right, let me share my screen real quick. I'm still making green tea, so I gotta make sure I put myself on mute. You can probably hear the Keurig in the background. Yeah, and we're gonna go with the classical piano. It's a little nicer than the other one we had. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Easy. Not yet. Didn't I say share screen? Oh, there we go. Share audio because I love the audio. So peaceful. All right. I'm just going to say 3, 2, 1 because I can't figure out how to get this thing back to the mark. Wait, there we go. Okay. And go. That's the sound I remember. Always like that calming noise.
I like that timer. I like the music.
Yeah, I really like Mr. Timer, and I also want to go in and create my own timers. Lauren from Divided by Sight suggested I reach out to Sid the Kid, and maybe he can help teach me to get that, because I think it'd be cool to make my own timers, especially because I found bensound.com has free royalty free music, and they also do have some other music that you could pay like a membership for, but I'm gonna wait on that. We'll see. But I actually decided, little inspired, to rewrite that last chapter that I was telling you about, where it's a journal entry. I'm converting it to an actual therapy session, so that way I can send it your way. And because then I think the entire book is closer to its final points and everything. Because it's technically going through draft 2 right now. Because I did my own draft through the whole thing. Now I've sent it out to people, and so all the changes that they suggest I make is draft 2.
How long
right now,
is
about
it?
72,000 words. 22 chapters. Yeah, it's
Nice.
like 22 chapters. Most of my chapters have around 3,000 words, but it's an adult contemporary.
Nice.
I was calling it women's health, but apparently I shouldn't. But we're not calling it. I mean, not women's health, women's fiction. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's not false. I mean, it's
false.
The main character is a woman, and it's her trials and tribulations through life and her own mental health. Still a rite of passage.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a decent sized book, I think. Have you decided how you're gonna?
I would like traditional publishing. Hopefully, my query letter, which I've already written, and I keep on editing as I go on, because I get more information of like, here's where it'd be better, and then also I just think of like, okay, what's the elevator pitch of my book, and I edit it more because I don't want to give away too much, but at the same time, I'm not sure. So, but it's one of those books that I think people are gonna hate me or hate the character at the end. So, yeah, it's interesting. It makes me really glad that I'm approaching this whole thing from a pen name. Yeah, I don't want anyone thinking that I'm reflecting my work or anything on this.
Yeah, not the pen name thing, but the change. It's my story, but I'm thinking about changing everyone's name in there so people don't like judge me for whatever I happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, and also, the more I think about stories and stuff, there's your truth, there's my truth, and the truth. And we can't get to the truth, really, as a society, as people and such, because we always have our own filters. We can't remove the filters. We can diminish them a little bit. Like, to me, it's like trying to get to translucent, and as far as we can get is like 10% transparent.
No, I get what you mean. Like, I was talking to my sister, who's a year younger than me, about some of the things I'm writing in the book, because she knows I'm writing the book. And I remember my dad and my grandma, that my grandma was there, and we were sitting at her kitchen table, and my dad told us that our mom had died, but my sister remembers that our stepmom told us. Not at grandma's house. Like, it's the same information. We just remember in our memories happening at different locations or a different way. Like, it's a fact that we were misinformed that our mom had passed away in California and died, and no one can find her body or anything or where she was buried. She's alive. She's lived in Oregon her whole life. She never went to California. We found this out like 7 years later. But like the things that happened, we just remember them from a different point of view. So
it's kind of funny because the same thing happened to my sister and I. Of course, ours wasn't as severe, but we're not sure if you remember the actor Anthony Rapp. He was in Adventures of Babysitting, and then he was also the camera guy in Rent, the movie.
okay, yeah,
Yeah. So that's Anthony Rapp. Well, my cousin apparently grew up with him, like they were best friends, lived near each other. And so when I went to her wedding at like I was 10 or something, Anthony Rapp was there, and I didn't recognize him or anything. And I remember him singing. Brown Eyed Girl was playing, and he sang it to me, like just like at the table singing, and he looked right at me, was like Brown Eyed Girl and stuff like that. And I'm the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm 10, and I'm like, but I have blue eyes. Like that was my thought. Whereas my sister remembers, she's like, no, he sang that song to me. I don't remember him singing it to her at all. I don't even remember her being at the table, but it's just funny how memories are different, and I just psychology is cool.
So everyone's gonna have different memories and viewpoints of what happened. So that's why I'm thinking of like just branding it as based on true events. So if I get stuff a little bit different than what other people remember happening, then it's okay. You know what I mean?
Well, and then also, who can argue what the truth is, because there's
like
there's the truth, but it's all through our filters. So if you saw, like, I mean, going back, was it the Emperor's New Clothes? Emperor's New Clothes where he walked out naked, but there was like an Emperor's New Hat, and one side was green and one side was red.
Oh, okay.
So people on either side of them, they're like, what a great green hat. No, it was what a great red hat. And they argued with each other, but from where they were standing on the street, that was the color hat they saw.
Right. Just like your filters can change what you see. Like in one of my psychology classes, there's this video of like basketball players, like two different basketball player teams. And then at the end of the video, it was, what did you think about the black bear? So there was like a team of like basketball players in white, a team of basketball players in black, and then there was this black bear that came and was like in the middle of it. But no, most students did not pick up on the black bear
because I think I remember seeing that, and because wasn't it walking in the background a little bit?
Yeah, walking in the background.
Yes, I saw that, and it was we were talking about perception, and
yes,
or it might have been in the show Brain Games. It was talking about memory and stuff.
Yeah,
and
it was in one of my social psychology class that I was studying. Like it was that, like something to do with like perception, and then witness something, like eyewitness things, because not everyone sees the same thing. Like you can tune something out or tune into something else.
Your memory can be altered easily, because the scenario I saw was they staged someone's purse being snatched or something, and they planted people in the viewer area that when everyone was like, oh, he had a black hoodie and he snatched, or a black trench coat, the person was like, no, it was dark green. And enough of the planner people said no, it was dark green, that the people who actually saw it and weren't planners, they changed their answers to dark green.
Right.
Because they just assumed they must have got it wrong. And then the what's the other psychology thing of how we're influenced by groupthink?
Yes.
Of the tone where you're in a waiting room and a tone goes off and everybody stands up. And then the tone goes off again and everyone sits down. And no one knows. Yes, honey. And no one knows why they're standing up or sitting down by the time you start taking people in and out of the room, that the original planted people in there. Yeah, I find that stuff interesting. I like to think that I would not fall prey to it, but we always like to think that we're individuals and we can think for ourselves. I'm sorry, buddy. It's not working. I know. He wants me to control the playroom TV. I'm in the playroom right now.
Okay.
As noted by the puzzles on the wall that we've put together and then framed. And then that's London up there. Oh wait, actually that's London. I can't, this whole mirror thing is throwing me off. I'm just gonna get out of the picture.
Wow, you've done a lot of puzzles.
That's not even all of them. That's just the ones we actually glued together because we got tired of doing it over again. I'm trying to get a few things for my son. But my plan is I am going to work, since I only need like 400 more words for today to be good for the week. I'm going to fix that chapter, which is like 1,000 something words. I'm going to fix that chapter. And then I'm probably going to send this your way because I think it's good enough that someone can review it. Like it's changed enough from the other versions that other people have.
Okay. Did you want to like share it with me like a Google Docs, or how did you want to send it?
We can decide that offline, like through Instagram, because I can do either, whatever works best.
Yeah.
I know I'm also still right now editing Charlie Dorset's novella. I'm on chapter 8 of that one.
How's that one? Is it good?
That one's good. I like it. It's an interesting story. The only parts that I got hung up on, and I've already told him this, so it's not like I'm talking behind his back. Her back. The was trying to figure out like the human piece of it, like because it's sci-fi, so there's other creatures and characters, and I'm like, and at this point, I'm done getting hung up on whether someone's human or not, and I'm just like, this creature, this being, this entity.
Right.
But I'm enjoying it, and I think it's because I've just been so invested in contemporary novels for a while now, like a lot of memoirs and true stories, and then writing my own contemporary novel and stuff, and then I got follow-on contemporary novels for that I'm just like, I forgot how much I enjoy sci-fi and fantasy and stuff like that. So I'm trying to bring that back into the fold, especially for my sanity. To Mama says hi.
Hello.
Stumbling in. No, you were graceful. No one noticed you tripped. We're just about to get off. Coming in at right after this at 4:00 Eastern is the traditional publishing talks and sprints with Alexa Dunn, Laura Wrights, Kevin the writer, Leslie Sandbury, Lindsay Puckett, and Lainey Crest. I think I said that name right. So okay. I am all about the traditional publishing stories and stuff like that, since that's my goal. Only because I don't plan to quit my job. And I mean, I've already invested like 8 years. I might as well just finish out and retire. So I figured traditional publishing is the best route. Because otherwise, I wouldn't be able to write full time. I can't.
It's hard work. And, and your kids just get bigger and needs more attention.
Actually, now, I mean, like, so my son needs the most attention. My daughter, she's 9, but we have to, like, now she's in gymnastics. She'll probably, like, want to join other extracurriculars. So dropping her off at places will happen, I'm sure.
That's the bonus about the my middle daughter with the spectrum. And she's like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to stay home. I don't want to do any groups. The only one that she does is she does homeschool running club on Fridays.
Oh, that's fine.
Which is like a group activity, but like,
yeah, and it's healthy, gets her out of the house and stuff like that. Yeah. That's why I'm not too upset about my my oldest. She does gymnastics, and that's twice a week, but it's 3 hours twice a week. But with COVID and everything, I just drop her off. And so I come back home, eat dinner, whatever, or my husband will drop her off and pick her up. We don't mind it. She's stopping by. Autocorrect. Yeah, Devasia, you came back just in time to say goodbye. I hope the bracelet turned out well. Post on Instagram the bracelet you made. I
Yeah.
want to see it. So, and for anyone, she posted earlier that she was going to be right back because she had to make a bracelet with a 9-year-old, which is a valid reason.
Yeah, I did see that comment right before I hopped on.
Yeah, so with that, I guess we're just gonna wrap up. I will work on that last chapter. I'm gonna watch this traditional publishing talk at 4 o'clock Eastern, and we'll go with there. And if you don't mind, since we talked about your homeschooling workshop that you did, do you mind shooting me an Instagram link, and then I'm gonna put that in the description as well.
Yeah,
So
I can do
that anybody rewatching this, they're like, oh, hey, I want that. I'm going to have that in there.
Okay, yeah, I can shoot that.
All right, cool. All right, well, then the description will be changing because I said I was going to post something. Oh, yeah, I was going to do the copyright. Post that in the description as well, the copywriting notes and stuff. So, yeah, with that,
Right.
Thanks, everybody, for coming. I honestly thought that I was going to be talking to myself, but that was going to be okay.
Did anyone else show up? Did anyone else
Nope,
co-host with you?
just you, which was it's actually kind of good because I was a little worried. Mason, I was a little worried that I was going to end up having too many people at first, but then a lot of people had to cancel, and which is fine. It doesn't hurt my feelings because I know I'm still going to be able to get writing done, still be productive, and some people might find benefit after it airs.
Yeah, a lot of my live streams, I get more views on it afterwards. So people watch it. People watch the live streams afterwards, like the writing sprints. I think it helps. They like follow along and do the sprints or something.
Sorry about that. I'm glad I muted my camera before I coughed.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, views afterwards is pretty cool, and then also people jump around with that a little bit more too.
Yeah. Yes,
so,
I do.
Not yet, sweetie.
Okay.
So it works. Well, thank you for coming, Stephanie. I'm glad you were able to make it, even on the last portion. And we got a sprint in. We got good chats in. You're gonna shoot me that link. I'm gonna put the other link in the description, and I guess that's it. Do you want to plug your channel? Oh, I'm also gonna link your channel because you came by.
All right. Hi, my name is Stephanie. I have a YouTube channel, Stephanie Whitson, on here. I also have another channel that I talk more about homeschooling and living in an RV with 5 people in a smaller space, so that's fun. And that's about it. Find me on here. I don't have a schedule when I'm posting videos, so be sure to hit the bell icon so that way when I do post one, you're aware of it.
And
that's
you're also on Instagram.
Oh yes, I'm also on Instagram. Stephanie Whitson Writer is my Instagram username on there. And that's it. Yes. Yay. Okay. So I'll send you the stuff, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for coming. And I'm going to turn off live. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's 2 buttons. Bye.